で読み切りは成功したんですか？
いや、全然ダメだったみたいですね。
ああ、どういうところでダメってお分かりになったんですか？
こう雑誌の最初の方にアンケート用紙っていうのがあるんですね。面白かったものに丸をつけろと。でそれで集計すれば分かるんですけど、思いっきりドベでした。
思いっきりドベ、思いっきりドベっていうのは面白くないとかそういうこと？
そうですね。やっぱり全然受けんかったみたいですね。
Hey Ninodakus, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and I guess you've seen the thumbnail by now and you have some idea of what this video is all about. The evolution of anime. So, where does this all begin? Well, let's jump back in time and find out. In 1977, there was a guy seeking for a job, and this is when he found out about a manga contest sponsored by Shueisha, the largest manga publishing company in Japan. Growing up, he had a keen interest in drawing and doodling characters. In 1977, he submitted his first manga, Our World. And in 1978, he submitted two mangas, Mysterious Rain Jack and Wonder Island. And in 1979, Tomato Girl Detective. He loved to explore different cultures, and he had this unique ability to seamlessly blend two different cultures together in his work. In his first work, Our World, he beautifully brought two cultures together, a samurai and a superhero. But even after trying for 3 years, submitting 4 different mangas and bringing versatility to the table, he failed consecutively. But the then editor at Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump, Kazuhiko Toriyama, saw potential in him and told him not to give up. And this man would end up creating one of the most successful series of all time and revolutionizing the anime manga industry forever. Yes friends, today we are talking about the legendary legacy of Akira Toriyama.
And now it's time to pay!
If the 22-year-old had given up on his dream of becoming a mangaka after 3 consecutive failures, we would have not seen the anime industry as it is today. He did not give up and kept working hard, and in the year 1980, he came up with Dr. Slump. He would find tremendous success with the release of Dr. Slump. It was based on a blend between Japanese and Western cultures, as he would often bring different cultures together in his work. Dr. Slump won the Shakugan Award for Shonen and Shoujo category in 1981.
とにかく今我のお話を申し上げようかしらと思ったんだけど、そういう連載を始めたとにかく本になった初版で190万冊。
ああ、そう聞いてますけど。
すごい数ですね。まあ漫画って言っても初版が190万冊、そしてその1巻から9巻まで今出ている。
はい。
全部でトータルすると2248万部。
そう、それぐらいですか。
すごいですね。でも、まあ、それで少女番付1位におなりになって、まあ、そういう全てこういったお仕事をしていらっしゃる方の中でもひっくりずば抜けて長者番付全日本で35位っていうのはやっぱり随分すごいんじゃないでしょうかしらね。
そうですかね。いや僕が金のこととかあんまりピンとこないもんですから。
In fact, anime and manga were so popular that Shueisha wanted Toriyama to come up with something special to replace Dr. Slump. By late 1983, Dr. Slump was nearing the end of its run. For the new manga, only 3 months' time was given to Toriyama by the publishers. It was a race against time, finishing Dr. Slump and coming up with something new. This time, Toriyama and his editor Torishima-san wanted this story to be completely different from Dr. Slump. Torishima-san came up with a brilliant idea of mixing gag comedy with martial arts. Torishima-san is the same person who saw potential in Toriyama all those years back, and now they were working together on this new project. At first, Toriyama would refuse the idea, saying, "The things I like and the things I want to draw are completely different." But eventually, he would convince Toriyama to give it a shot. And this time, they went back to ancient Chinese roots. Toriyama was a big fan of Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. He loved their films. Jackie Chan's Drunken Master was one of his favorites. The two legends even had the chance to meet one another and appreciate each other's work. And Toriyama would later incorporate some concepts of these movies in his future projects. So, in 1983 itself, Toriyama would publish two one-shot stories centered around gag comedy and martial arts. They are Dragon Boy and The Adventures of Tanku. In both these stories, some concepts and elements were introduced which would later be refined and end up in Dragon Ball. In Dragon Boy, the princess resembles Bulma's personality. Our protagonist Tang Tong has wings, making him stand out, just like Goku's tail. A Master Roshi-like character, Flying Nimbus, a shape-shifting character like Puar were all introduced here. From Adventures of Tanku, the concept of Hoi capsules would be carried over to Dragon Ball, and we see later Bulma use them. Both of these one-shot stories offered something new to the readers and were very successful. Now Toriyama had made up his mind. With a continuous serialization, one story approach for the whole series was finalized. So what do I mean by continuous serialization? Well, you see, until now every series had standalone episodes offering a complete story to the audience in a single manga, chapter or TV episode. But now Toriyama wanted the story to flow from one chapter to another, from one episode to another. This approach was popularized by Toriyama and is still in use today. Recall, I told you that this time they went back to ancient Chinese roots. Well, not only the martial arts itself and movies, but also to give their story a steady structure, they took inspiration from the epic Chinese novel from 16th century, Journey to the West. Well, if you want a dedicated video on this topic, leave a comment below, and for the purposes of this video, know that the character of Goku was inspired by Sun Wukong, Bulma was Tripitaka, Yamcha was Shabojing, and Oolong was Zhu Beishi. These four characters were the first to be introduced in the story of Dragon Ball. Thus, on December 3rd, 1984, Dragon Ball was first serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump. It contains a total of 519 chapters printed in 42 tankobon volumes. Well, tankobon volume is basically referring to manga volumes. The manga has sold over 160 million copies in Japan, 300 million worldwide, making it the second best selling series of all time. The TV anime began on 26 February 1986, produced by Toei Animation on Fuji TV. It covered the first 194 manga chapters, and the later half of the chapters would be covered under a different name, Dragon Ball Z, from 195 to 519. Well, why is that? Well, that's a topic for another video. Goku was a bigger hit on TV than Arale. Dragon Ball started a trend of action shonen stories. It had everything that attracted every age group, be it likable characters, jaw-dropping action, thrilling rivalries, and compelling storyline. You name it. Dragon Ball would set the bar really high, so high that it would inspire the aspiring mangakas. So after the Dragon Ball manga ended, new shonen series was on the horizon, starting with Ichiro Oda's upcoming work. He is a big Dragon Ball fan and even has all the manga volumes at his home. While talking about Dragon Ball's run coming to an end, he said, "It was a shock for all of us. All the newcomers were like, I want that spot." Starting a period where everyone was competing against each other to fill the void left by Dragon Ball. Then after 2 years, everyone realized that comparing themselves against Dragon Ball was like asking to be defeated. And I'm glad I somehow managed to survive all that. And he certainly did. Guys, I am indeed talking about One Piece. It started in 1997, just 2 years after the successful end of Dragon Ball. Today, it is the most successful and longest running shonen series of all time. The anime has over 1033 episodes and the manga has 1060 chapters. One Piece set a Guinness World Record for the most copies published of the same comic by the single author. It was the best-selling manga for 11 consecutive years from 2008 to 2018, and it is still going as strong as ever, with the 15th film from the franchise, One Piece Film Red, coming soon in theaters near you.
私がみんなが幸せになる新時代を作ってあげる。
Another very successful series that was inspired by Toriyama's work is Masashi Kishimoto's Naruto. The character design of Naruto was inspired by the Super Saiyan design of Goku, and that's very trivial, but that's not the crazy part. The four tails in the series, Yonobi, is inspired by the Ozaru design of Son Goku, or you can even say Son Wukong. His name is directly inspired by Son Goku, and his Jinchuriki is Master Roshi. Well, not this duo, but this duo. So another coincidence is that the Naruto manga started 4 years after the Dragon Ball manga ended, and in Dragon Ball, 4-star Dragon Ball is the first Dragon Ball that you see in the series, which is given by Grandpa Gohan to Goku. It remains as one of the most popular series of all time. In 2019, it had 250 million manga volume sales in 46 different countries, and 95 million copies were sold in the US alone. But it is not easy to create a series that's one of the best unless you're inspired by the best. Thank you, Toriyama sensei. There is an even more interesting and crazy story. The story of Bleach, Taita Kubo and Toriyama sensei. Initially, Kubo's work was rejected by various publication houses throughout Japan. Toriyama was sent a draft copy of his work, and Toriyama loved it. He wrote a letter to Kubo and praised him. Later, he helped Kubo to get his work published, Bleach. And so Bleach was published on 5th October 2004. And rest, my friends, is history. As of 2022, Bleach manga has sold over 130 million copies worldwide, making it the 7th most popular series of all time by Shonen Jump. That's a crazy feat now. And now, after a decade or so, we are finally getting the final arc adaptation in anime format. It's right around the corner, the 1000-year Blood War arc. So, as you can see, in some way or another, Toriyama was involved in the creation of the big three of Shonen. On one hand, the story and characters of Naruto and One Piece were inspired by the story of Dragon Ball, and on the other hand, Toriyama himself was involved in getting Bleach published. Without him, there would be no big three of Shonen. And now we know how much of an impact Toriyama's work has had over the anime manga industry, how he has revolutionized the industry forever. Now just think, if back then the 22-year-old had won the competition that day, would there be Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach? Oh my god! मैं हंस दिया थोड़ा सा oh my god करो ना no
और एक्टिंग की दुकान
no so my friends, remember, even if you fail today, God might have something else planned for you. So keep working hard and don't give up.